The objective of this lesson is to plot pairs of values on a coordinate grid from a table of equivalent ratios. In previous grades, students have had experience with plotting ordered pairs generated from two patterns in the first quadrant. Students will work on recognizing that the increasing values from the table can be seen on the graph as coordinated horizontal and vertical increases along the line. Let's examine the first table. The top row represents the number of cups of flour, and the bottom row represents the number of cups of brown sugar in the recipe for different situations. The first column is the original recipe. There are 3 cups of flour and 1 cup of brown sugar. The second column is the recipe doubled. The flour amount would be the initial 3 cups doubled, or 3 times 2. The amount of flour would be 6 cups. The amount of brown sugar would be double the amount of the original 1 cup, or 1 times 2. The amount of brown sugar would be 2 cups. The third column is triple the original recipe. The initial 3 cups of flour tripled is 9 cups of flour. The initial 1 cup of brown sugar tripled is 3 cups of brown sugar. How do the two rows relate? The number in the top row relates to the corresponding number in the bottom row as a ratio of flour to brown sugar. The ratio of 3 to 1 for the original recipe is equivalent to the ratio for the double recipe, 6 to 2, and the triple recipe, 9 to 3. In each ratio, the amount of flour is 3 times the amount of brown sugar. If the table were to be extended by another 2 columns, the next column would be 4 times the original recipe, and the fifth column would be 5 times the original recipe. The amount of flour would be 12 cups for the quadrupled batch and 15 cups for the quintupled batch. The amount of brown sugar would be 4 cups for the quadrupled batch and 5 cups for the quintupled batch. Let's use a table like this one to record the ratios as ordered pairs. The original recipe would be a ratio of 3 to 1. The doubled recipe would be a ratio of 6 to 2. Continue filling in the rest of the ratios. Let's use the ratios to create ordered pairs. The amount of flour will be the X value, and the amount of brown sugar will be the Y value in the ordered pairs. For the original recipe, the ordered pair would be 3 cups of flour for the X coordinate and the 1 cup of brown sugar for the Y coordinate, or 3, 1 in parentheses. The doubled recipe ordered pair would be the 6 cups of flour as the X coordinate and the 2 cups of brown sugar for the Y coordinate, or 6, 2 in parentheses. Let's continue writing in the ordered pairs in our table. Now we will use the ordered pairs and plot them on the graph. Label the X-axis cups of flour and the Y-axis cups of brown sugar. Plot the first point, 3, 1 in parentheses, by starting at the origin, which is 0, 0, and moving out 3 lines along the X-axis and up 1 line along the Y-axis. This point represents the original recipe. Plot the next point, 6, 2 in parentheses. Start at the origin 0, 0, and move out 6 lines along the X-axis and up 2 lines along the Y-axis. Make a point to represent the recipe doubled. Continue plotting the rest of the ordered pairs, which are 9, 3, 12, 4, and 15, 5. Let's examine the points. If we were to draw a line connecting the points, it would be a straight line because the ratios are equivalent. In between each set of points, there is a constant change. To get from point 1 to point 2, the pattern is move over 3 lines along the X-axis and up 1 line along the Y-axis. To get from point 2 to point 3, the pattern is the same. Move over 3 lines and up 1. The objective for this lesson was to plot pairs of values on a coordinate grid from a table of equivalent ratios. We met this objective by generating equivalent ratios in a table by multiplying the amount of ingredients needed for a recipe. We created ordered pairs from the ratios and graphed them on a coordinate grid.